Hey everyone, welcome to What I Watched in February. Let's go. I did a double feature for X and Pearl, and they are not your typical horror films. I'm going to talk about them separately because they do stand as their own movies, but it was cool watching them back to back. I feel like X had a lot of points about sex that I wanted to get across that I just didn't quite figure out, which is totally on me. But the way each character in the story approaches sex and sexual interactions is very interesting, given sex is both the reason for prime and demise for all of them. I really like the character dynamics and the outfits everyone was wearing, and I don't really know what else to say. Mia Goth is definitely a star, there is no argument there. That 8 minutes monologue, no cuts, was incredible. Getting the context to X's villain, seeing a woman who just wanted to be seen, knowing Maxine's character, really makes us wonder if they'll end up the same way, especially with Mia Goth playing both parts, and the similarities we see between the two in both films. I guess we'll find out in Maxine, or Maxine. Similar to X, I feel like I have a lot of feelings and a lot going on in my head thinking about this movie, but for some reason I just cannot articulate any of them, so we'll just have to move on. I already have a video talking about underrated Disney movies that I absolutely adore, but I will say this again here. Tangled is, and always will be, my favorite Disney princess movie ever. I was really sick for a week and was looking for a comfort watch, and Tangled was definitely a right choice. Everything about it is just so lovable. The animation is beautiful. Mother Gothel is an incredible and honestly terrifying villain. Great songs, great story, great voice acting, all around the board. And I will never shut up about Eugene and Rapunzel, as they are one of the best animated couples ever, along with Jasmine and Aladdin and Sokka and Suki. Also, something I didn't mention in my past video is how great Tangled is in not being sexist. Frozen, which is the most popular Disney movie of the last decade, had the obvious theme of you don't need a man to save the damsel in distress, which I think was accomplished very well in the story, but was shoved down our throats a little bit. While Tangled, which is superior in every aspect, managed to convey the same message in a more natural manner. The relationship between Eugene and Rapunzel is balanced and healthy, and it doesn't feel forced on the audience. It's more about subconsciously seeing how Rapunzel is the one saving Eugene a lot of the times, and how she's in control of the situation on many occasions, while also respecting Eugene and letting him help her when needed, stepping in and out of each other's comfort zones without hammering it onto us or the characters. I feel like if Disney wanted to, they could have easily got the same or even better reaction from audiences out of Tangled as they did for Frozen. If only they marketed it better. If you follow me on Letterboxd, which you should, link in the description below, you'd know that a few months ago I watched my younger sister watch the Maze Runner trilogy for the first time. So this was me watching my younger brother watching it for the first time, and so far he loves it. So did my sister, and so do I. I don't know where the dystopian young adult book adaptation genre went, but it was a good time and I miss it. The Maze Runner still holds up with an intriguing concept and mystery to uncover, accompanied by incredible acting from Dylan O'Brien, Will Poulter, Thomas Brody Sangster, Ki Hong Lee, and more that are also very nice to look at. The only downside to it is the cliffhanger at the end and the fact that it is part of a trilogy. You have to watch the other two movies that are not as good, to say the least, to get the full picture. The Maze Runner cannot stand on its own. It is, however, a really fun rewatch. I watched Bros on Valentine's Day, which was unintentional, but I just wanted to mention that. Generally, I don't like rom-coms, but this was fine. It did took me a while to get into it. I think the beginning is a little all over the place, but when we got into the relationship, they managed to stick to a good pacing and focus, and I was all in. Honestly, didn't expect from Billy Eichner to carry like he did, especially in the more serious dramatic bits, but he was great. They definitely needed more time in the editing room, but I had a nice time. Apparently, I have a thing for a very specific and obscure sport docu-series on Netflix because I really love cheer and now I really love Formula 1 Drive to Survive. Not that I'm saying cheerleading and racing are obscure, I guess niche is a more fitting description. But anywho, I just watched all of season 1 and almost all of season 2, and I'm really enjoying myself so far. I know the new season came out a few days ago, and not that it was planned, but I'm still stoked I have more of it. It's basically a lot of behind the scenes of Formula 1, relations between teams, relations between drivers, cars, crashes, personal lives, and of course, racing. I really like the structure of the series. Each episode focuses more or less on one team and/or driver, and throughout the season we watch the same races from different points of view. It makes it really easy to follow, which is very impressive given the amount of people, terms, and rules we need to familiarize ourselves with. I don't really know about recommending it to people. I don't think anyone would enjoy this, but it does have very good reviews all around, so if you think you might be into this, totally go for it. Also, I am so in love with Daniel Ricciardo, and I would never get tired of watching Pit Stops. Look, I'm not a fan of Nicolas Cage. I never was. I have nothing against him, but I just don't get the hype around this guy. If you know me, you know that I sometimes watch stuff exclusively for the actors in this stuff, and I just could not resist watching Daddy Pedro walking around with luscious hair being goofy for an hour and 45 minutes. So, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent is an okay movie. James from Shaverless Productions said it best in his Letterboxd review. This was like 5 different movies at once, and the only good one was Nick Cage and Pedro Pascal vibing, and that pretty much sums it up. There is the emotional family story, the action thriller spy mafia story, a discovery of self story, and a body movie all in one, and truly the parts where it's just Nick and Pedro having fun were the best, like the scene where they're on acid. So I had a lot of fun with the humor, some of the callbacks were great, and the dynamic between Nick and Pedro is just impeccable, but it's just a little bit all over the place, and they kind of showed every good bit in the marketing for the movie, so do with that what you will. Moving on. Middleditch and Schwartz is a rewatch, and is kind of a cheat because I watched it in January, but because it's not a letterbox, I can't log it, so I forgot, but I still wanted to mention it, so I just can recommend it to you. It's a comedy series on Netflix with 3 episodes of improv shows with comedian Ben Schwartz and Thomas Middleditch. And before you say, ew, improv is cringe and not good, trust me, you're wrong, on this one at least. It is so worth watching. One thing I would change is the order of the episodes. On Netflix, it's Parking Lot Wedding, then Law School Magic, and then Dream Job. I recommend watching Parking Lot Wedding last because it's the best one. Dream Job is the next best, and Law School Magic is quote-unquote the worst one. But I would say they're interchangeable in order of watching, and they are both still great. If we're already cheating, I wanted to recommend Daniel Sloss's comedy specials. He has 2 on Netflix called Dark and Jigsaw, and 1 on HBO called X. He's an absolute genius in constructing his shows. He manages to build a theme and a narrative throughout his sets that are condensed to the last 10 to 15 minutes for a very serious, meaningful, and important message. He has a very dark humor, not in an offensive way, but it's still not for everyone. But I would honestly recommend watching it even if you don't find any of it funny, just to get to those last bits of life-altering lessons. If I had to compare him to someone so you'll kind of get the vibe, it's like Bo Burnham without music. While writing this video, I found out he has another special called Socio that is streaming on his website, which I am so looking forward to watching. But as of right now, go watch the most relevant and important comedy specials ever. Continuing watching The Last of Us, I'm falling deeper and deeper in love with the series, the world, the characters, the actors. Seriously, it is that good. And I won't stop recommending it to every person I meet, and that includes you, so if you weren't convinced by my last video, let me assure you, the hype is real. You really, really need to watch it. So that was it for the month. I just wanted to pop here and say a few things. First of all, thank you so much for watching, especially if you made it that far into the video and you're still watching. So last video I said that I would try to make it what I watch this month every month of this year, and I'm just gonna change that to I'm gonna try to make a video every month of this year. Because of just my schedule, I can only make 1 video per month, and I realized if I wanna make a video essay, I should prioritize that instead of a what I watched this month. So that's pretty much it. So thank you again for watching. You can go watch the video essay playlists I have here, a video that YouTube suggests for you, and subscribe. Should be right on my face. So do that. Bye!